My name is Alan, and this is a story I never thought I'd be sharing. Never thought I'd even live to tell it. But here I am, and if you're listening to this, then maybe, just maybe, this message is for you. You see, I wasn't always this. Whatever you see before you now, I had a life once, a home, a family, a past that, well, feels like a different lifetime. I grew up in a small town, not too far from here. We weren't rich, but we were happy. At least that's how I remember it. Mom and Dad worked hard. Dad owned a little auto shop, and Mom helped run the books. We had dinners together, Sunday mornings at church, and laughter in the living room. It wasn't perfect, but it was home, and I loved it. But life has a way of throwing punches you don't see coming. It started with the business. One day the customers just stopped coming. Bills piled up, stress turned into arguments, and before I knew it, Dad wasn't the same man anymore. He started drinking. A lot. And Mom? She just gave up. It was like watching a slow-motion train wreck, but I was stuck inside it, strapped to my seat, powerless to stop what was coming. By the time I turned 18, the house wasn't a home anymore. It was just walls filled with silence and broken people. I packed a bag and left. Thought I'd find my own way, build a life, maybe even send money back to help. But dreams, they don't always work out the way you hope. I bounced from job to job, town to town, always chasing something, never quite catching it. And before I knew it, the streets became my home. Not by choice, not really. But when life knocks you down enough times, sometimes you just stop getting up. People don't really see you when you're homeless. They walk past, maybe glance for a second, but then their eyes move on, like you're nothing more than a shadow on the sidewalk. And after a while, you start to believe it. That you're nothing, just another face in the crowd, another ghost in the city. And then, the storm came. I remember hearing about it on the news, how big it was going to be, how people needed to stay inside, stock up on supplies. They gave it a name, ÉOWYN. Sounded powerful, and trust me, it was. The night it hit, the rain didn't just fall. It slammed into the earth like the sky itself was breaking apart. The wind howled, tearing through streets, ripping trees from the ground like they were nothing. And me? I had nowhere to go. No warm house, no stocked fridge, no one waiting for me. Just a soaked jacket and a desperate need to find some kind of shelter. I curled up under an old overhang behind some abandoned building. The cold seeped into my bones. My hands were shaking. My breath was shallow. I told myself I'd just rest for a bit, just close my eyes, just drift off for a second. And then, nothing. It was like the world just faded away. No pain, no cold, just silence. And then, light. Not just any light. The brightest, purest, most indescribable light I had ever seen. It wasn't blinding. It was warm. It wrapped around me like an embrace, filling me with this overwhelming sense of peace. And then I saw him. Jesus. I know how that sounds, I do. But I swear to you, it was him. Standing there looking at me, not with judgment, not with disappointment, but with love. A love so deep, so pure, that I felt it in every part of me. He didn't speak, not at first. He just looked at me. And in that moment, I knew. He knew everything. Every mistake, every failure, every tear I had ever shed, and he loved me anyway. Then he took my hand. It wasn't a physical hand, not like here, but I felt it. And he led me to a city. But not just any city. This place, it was alive. Not made of stone or metal, but of light. The streets, the buildings, even the air itself. It pulsed with energy, with peace, with something more real than anything I had ever known. I heard music. No, not just music. Worship. Voices singing in harmony so beautiful it made my soul ache. I felt joy. A joy so powerful, so consuming that I never wanted to leave. But then he showed me the other place. Darkness. Total, complete, crushing darkness. No light, no warmth, just an emptiness so deep it felt like it could swallow everything. And in that darkness, despair. A feeling so heavy, so suffocating that I couldn't breathe. It was like every pain, every sorrow, every regret in existence had been poured into one place. I wanted to look away. I wanted to run. But I couldn't. Then, Jesus spoke. His voice wasn't loud. It wasn't harsh, but it shook me to my core. It's not your time. I looked at him, confused. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay in the light, in the love, in the peace. But he wasn't finished. You have more to do, Alan. You have a story to tell. And then I was back. Cold, wet, shivering, gasping for breath. The rain was still falling. The wind was still howling. But I was alive. more alive than I had ever been before. Some people found me, rushed me to the hospital. They said I should have been dead. They called it a miracle. And I know it was, because I've seen heaven, and I've seen hell, and now I have to tell you the truth. Heaven is real, Jesus is real, and He's calling you. Right now. You don't have to wait until it's too late to know Him. You don't have to go through what I did. You don't have to wonder where you'll go when your time comes, because one day, it will come. If you were to die tonight, where would your soul go? Would you be in the light or in the darkness? Don't wait until it's too late to decide. If this story has touched your heart, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below and let us know your thoughts. And if you've had a near-death experience of your own, we'd love to hear your story. And finally, if you haven't already, make the decision today to follow Jesus. Surrender your life to Him. Don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow isn't promised. Eternity is closer than you think. Subscribe for more stories like this, stories that remind us of what truly matters. God bless you.